Hello everybody, welcome back to the next brand new face video. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Before we jump into this one, this is our intro. I messed up on the previous recording, so if you guys want to see my beauty creations video, be sure to go ahead and check that out. I'll make sure to leave a link in the description down below for you guys to click on, and also I will have a option for you to click at the end of the video as well if you'd like to check that video out. But just wanted to get that out of the way first, and also let you guys know that we are here for our next brand new face video, and this is the first of our 100 and above makeup brands. So we are moving into the next category, which is very, very exciting. Now that does not mean that we won't have other makeup brands that are in the $99 and below or $30 and below. I do still have some of those coming in, and we will be mixing those in every now and then here and adding those to those playlists. But I will also make sure to include our $99 and below playlist down below as well. So if you're curious about any of those brands, that'll be in the description down below as well. But yeah, I am so excited to be starting into this next category. Being that these products are $100 or over, I decided to kind of start in a range of $100 to $150 and kind of work in that range first. And there are a lot of brands just in that range, which is crazy. I hope you guys are excited as much as I am for these brands, because there's a lot of more familiar ones to me in this category. So be sure to look out for those videos, I guess. But let's just move forward, and I will introduce today's brand, which is going to be LA Girl. Yes, now I've used LA Girl products before, not a whole lot, and maybe not even recently. I think this is a brand that's available at like Ulta's. I don't believe they're available at Sephora's, and I think I always kind of got them confused with LA Colors. So I think I've used kind of both of them in combination before, thinking that they were the same brand, but it turns out they're not. LA Colors is a dollar store, way more affordable brand. I've recorded that video for you guys, and if you guys want to check that one out, go check it out. But this one is LA Girls, which they are different, and I've got the products laid out here in front of me, and I am so excited to get started. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So we're going to start out with our eyes like we usually do. So we have a concealer, and the concealer is called the LA Girls Pro Concealer. It's their HD high definition concealer. Comes in a bottle like this, and opening it up, oh, I expected to like open it and that there would be an applicator inside, but it looks like it's actually these little bristles that we will be squeezing and then applying. So let's go ahead and apply this on our eyes. We will be using our dampened e.l.f. blender to blend that out. So I'm gonna take a little time to make sure the product goes out. Okay, there it goes. I'm gonna kind of dab it on my hand here first. So the eyelids are concealed, and I wouldn't say that it's full coverage. You can definitely still see a little bit of like veins showing through. I can try to maybe add just a touch more, but just off the eyes here, it's not showing up as too full of coverage, and it's a little tacky, just a little tacky, just off of first application, but we've got that applied as our base. I'll go ahead and put the lid on that. Now, let me see what shade I got here. I got the shade Porcelain, which I don't recall if that's their lightest one or not, but it's one of their lightest ones. There's a chance I might have gone just a touch, maybe a shade too dark. Usually I do try to go for something a little bit lighter for concealer. But when applying it, I was like, oh, it's just a little bit darker than what I was expecting. Not bad for the eyes, but we'll have to kind of see how that compares with the foundation when we introduce that to see if it has a nice balance when it comes to concealing. So let's set that down and introduce the eyeshadow. Now, as most brands do, or a lot of brands do, they had a lot of options for eyeshadows, but I decided to go with this one right here. So we're going to be having a pink moment on the eyes today, which is very exciting. This is the LA Girls Keep It Playful Eye Palette. We've got a lot of fun pops of pinks and this kind of like champagne shimmer, a little bit of like a deep purple brown kind of shimmer, or not shimmer, MAC shade going on there. So very excited for this pink moment. Maybe. I'm just looking at it here now, and I always want to try to not do the same types of techniques all the time. Maybe we'll try to do somewhat of a halo eye with this. I think that could be really fun to take this shimmer and really apply it right in the center there. So I think that's going to be the game plan here. So let's go ahead and grab our M433 brush, and I'm going to start. I want to keep it light for the transition at first. So we're going to take this shade right here at the top, dip our brush on in there, and apply this as our transition. All right, so we've got this first transition shade here applied. A lot more pigment in the color than I honestly expected. I was like, oh, we'll go for something nice and light and soft, and applying it right away. Like, you can definitely see the color showing up here, which is amazing. It's a little dusty in the pan, so that's just something to keep in mind. Nothing that I don't mind that at all. But yeah, we've got a decent transition here laid down. I'm gonna go in it again just a little bit deeper with this guy, but not too much, because I still want to try to keep that halo idea in mind. But I'm going to dip into this next deepest shade here and just kind of quickly deepen up the crease a little bit more, not too much though. So we've deepened that up a little bit, not sure how much you'll see that. And then next, I'm going to use that same shade. Now I know that this is probably not the typical way to create a halo eye, but I am going to use my finger. I'm going to dip into that same shade, and I'm going to focus that here on the inner third here and outer third, just to get that color packed in at first, making sure to try to leave the center here as blank as possible so we have that space for that shimmer. So I will dip in and pack that on the inner and the outer. Okay, and then I'm going to take the M433 brush again and just kind of make sure everything is blending into that transition nicely. I might slightly dip in to the palette a little bit just to make sure there is enough shadow on the eye and there aren't too many sparse or patchy areas, I guess. All right, and then next we're going to go into the deepest shade here. It's kind of like a deep purpley brown color, and I'm gonna grab, we'll just take this guy. This is the Morphe M213 brush, and we're going to dip into that and just deepen out those inner and outer corners a little bit more. All right, and it's very sloppy right now, but I'm going to take my M433 brush, not adding anything additional to it, and just kind of softening things up. So things are looking a little interesting right now. I'm definitely not super used to how halo eyes, how it looks on me, but I think as we continue going and we get that shimmer put in and we crisp up the sides here and we get a mascara applied, things will really start coming together. So it probably looks a little interesting to you guys right now, but I'm really enjoying how things are blending together so far. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead now and we're gonna grab that shimmer shade. So using our finger, we're gonna go into this nice shimmer shade right up here, and we're gonna pop that right on the center. There's a chance we might take a small brush as well, just to get it nice and close to the lash line, but we're gonna start with our finger here. Okay, so the shimmer is applied. That is beautiful. It's metallic-y, shimmery. I bet if we had used a setting spray, it would have even been more metallic-y and shimmery here on the eye. So that was a lot of fun to apply. Doesn't appear to be falling out on the face here at all, which is really nice. So it's kind of like a soft halo eye here, but I'm really liking how that is turning out here so far. So let's go ahead. I'm going to apply an inner corner here. We'll probably come back later and touch that up as well. But I'm going to clean off that Morphe M213, that small brush real quick here. And I'm going to dip into, let's take this guy. He just looks so, this might be a little sparkly for an inner corner, but he looks really good. And we'll apply that as our inner corner for now, but we'll probably come back later as well and touch it up. But I think this will kind of help kind of complete and brighten things up there so things aren't looking too weird. It's a little a little too sparkly for what I want for an inner corner. It has a lot of blue shifts in it too. So I'm just gonna take my finger, take this shade right here instead, and just dip that in real quick. All right, so there are the top eyeshadows so far. I'm really happy with how everything is performing so far. Things are blending nicely. These shimmers in here are beautiful. So far I'm very excited about this, but let's go ahead and set that down for now. We're gonna grab a makeup wipe here and we're just gonna clean up the edges real quick. All right, we've got those edges cleaned up, so let's go ahead and introduce the next product here now, which is going to be the eyeliner. This is the Ellie Girls Fine Line. It's long-lasting, fine tip liquid eyeliner. Here's what that looks like. And then opening it up, it's got a nice, fairly small felt tip applicator, so I think that'll be really nice for applying thin lines. Let's go ahead and put a little bit on our hand here. Yeah, I mean, it appears to be very black. Seems to be drying down here fairly quick. It looks like it might have a little bit of a shine to it. It might not be like a matte finish, but that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and line the upper lash line. So the liner is applied. Hopefully you guys can see that. It applied fairly simple. I struggled with it a little bit on this eye where the applicator tip is very thin. So I was hoping to kind of get like a nice clean sweep, but it was so thin that I kind of had to go in and fill in a little bit. But I do really like how deep and black that is. Again, it doesn't appear to be, and maybe the shimmers are not helping this, but I don't believe it's like a matte black, but it's also not like super shiny. So it's like a semi-matte kind of black. It looks really nice on the eyes. Just the one thing is it didn't apply as smooth as I was hoping for. It does have a very nice, fine, defined tip on it. So if you try to go quick in, you might have to go back and kind of fill in the missed areas. But yeah, eyeliner's looking pretty good so far. So let's go ahead and curl our lashes quick. All right, the lashes are curled, so let's go ahead and introduce the mascara. So this is the LA Girls Double D Double Drama Volusious Mascara. Here's what that looks like. So it sounds like it's gonna wanna give us some volume, which is very exciting. So opening it up here, got a semi-large applicator. It's one of those like rubber silicone type applicators. Nothing too out of the ordinary from it. Bristles are pretty long. Something to keep in mind sometimes, I guess, with these types of bristles, especially when they're longer, it might be a little scratchy towards your lash line, so just something to keep in mind. But let's go ahead and apply this. Alrighty, the mascara is applied. Hopefully you guys can see this. So off the bat here, I like it. It took a little bit to work with. It definitely took some time to really apply it. The first application or layer, I guess, was definitely not very voluminous, but it has a very nice black pigment to it. It seems to dry down really fast, so you don't need to wait too long before going in with the next coat. So you can kind of get that volume to build up, but definitely not extreme volume for sure. And something else just always keep in mind is it definitely feels like my lashes have fallen a little bit, so I may need to go back later here and try and recurl them because they're definitely not sitting up as much as they were. But yeah, I like it. It's a very nice black. It dried down really nice. It's buildable. It just does take a little bit of time and it's not quite as volumizing as it appears to have promised. But let's go ahead, set that down and get moving on the face. So the next product here is going to be the primer. This is the LA Girls Pro.Prep HD High Define Smoothing Face Primer. Here's what that looks like. And opening it up here, I'm gonna put a little bit on the back of my hand. So it's a thick, I wonder if it's like silicone based or whatever, sort of jelly texture. It looks like it might be mattifying based off like how it came out. It has that sort of like very fine, slick feel to it, which is always something I try to keep in mind because it makes me feel like if I don't really let it dry down, I feel like the foundation is just gonna slide right off the face because it has that really slippery texture to it. But it looks like it might be really nice here on the face. Yeah, so I'm not sure what they fully mean by smoothing face primer. Helps smooth and fill in fine lines and pores. So reduces pores. All right, let's go ahead, just add a little bit of this to our fingertips and apply to the face. So the primer is applied. Now looking at it here, it doesn't appear off the bat to be very pore filling. I want to give it a little bit of time here to try to really set down so that it doesn't have the foundation slip off, hopefully. It's not matte by any means. I thought it would maybe be a little bit mattifying based off like the, just the way that it kind of came out. It had like that soft matte kind of look to it. So I thought maybe it'd be a little bit mattifying on the face here, but no, I don't think it is. Not too sure what to think about it here at the moment, so we'll just kind of let it set here for a little bit, and as we do that, we'll go ahead and introduce the foundation. Now, this is the LA Girls Pro Coverage HD High Definition Long Wear Illuminating. Ooh, we're gonna be illuminating foundation, and I went with their shade Fair. Now, let me just look something up here real quick, because it does look sort of dark here in the bottle. I just want to see what they have for shade options. Okay, so they have like a straight up white, like a lightener one, and this is the next lightest one listed as Fair. Then following up after that is Porcelain, which is what we used for our concealer. So we'll see how these look. Yeah. Looking at it here in the bottle, I'm a little worried it's a touch dark, but we can't really know until we put it on our face. So I'm going to pump a little bit here on the back of my hand. Okay. Appears to be a normal amount of liquidiness. It's not too thick, but it definitely doesn't run. So let's go ahead, put a little bit of that on our face. So I think we'll be able to make it work. It might just be a little orangey. We'll see. So let's go ahead. I'm going to pump a little bit more of that on the back of my hand. We will use our e.l.f. Sponge to go ahead, or blender, our e.l.f. blender, to go ahead and blend that all over the face. All right, the foundation is applied. It is definitely a touch dark. I think we'll sort of be able to make it work here for today's look, but not a light enough shade for something I need. And when it's definitely essentially their lightest shade aside from their like porcelain, or not porcelain, they're like actual white. But we're gonna move past the shade here for now. It's not bad. I think we'll be okay. Hopefully our concealer won't be darker than what this is, but it definitely is loomy. Like they said, we've got a dewy looking face. I would say it's medium coverage. You can definitely still see a little bit of darkness or redness showing through here a little bit. With it being kind of loomy, and my face kind of has some stuff going on, you can definitely really see that texture showing through, which is not something I'm super enjoying, but that's okay. So yeah, foundation is applied. Let's go ahead and get the concealer on. So grabbing that Pro Concealer again, I'm just going to squeeze on the back of my hand here again because I just don't want to apply too much. I think this will be lighter than the foundation. All right, the concealer is applied. Initially applying it, it was a little bit lighter than the foundation, but then blending it out here, it appears as if it just kind of blended away. I don't really see it on my face at all, but we are concealed. Let's go ahead and set things down. Things definitely need to be set down, and I'm not necessarily enjoying how dewy and loomy the face here is. I probably should have done a different type of their foundation. I think they have a matte one as well, but I just kind of selected this one at random. But I definitely want to kind of set things down a little bit and kind of pull back that loomy. So with the setting powder here, this is the LA Girls Pro.Powder High Definition Setting Powder. We are going to go ahead and apply that all over the face. It comes with a cute little puff. We probably won't use these, but I like hanging on to these. This one is very soft, so we'll hang on to that, but we won't use it today. And then we will peel back a couple little dots here. Now something, and maybe I'm just late to figuring out this out, is I always sit here and make a mess and like tap my stuff out. I'm pretty sure all you're supposed to do is put your lid on, turn it over, tap, 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 go back. And what that does, if I can open it, there we go. That puts a little bit of product. Nah, it didn't really work. Maybe it's because I don't pull back all the stickies, but I've been watching more videos and seeing that they just tip it upside down and tap it, so that it just kind of gets in this top area and they use it that way. And I was like, oh, I've been doing that wrong, but it didn't work for me this time. So I'm just gonna do what I always do. Tap some into the lid. And we are going to use one of our Sonia brushes here. Swivel on in and set the face down. Adding a little bit more there in the lid. I'm going to take a smaller Sonia brush here. Make sure I really focus this under the eyes. All right, the face is set. That definitely pulled back that luminous. A little bit more right there. Things are definitely looking a lot more matte. Yeah, it definitely like, it's drying on the face here a little bit, but I know that I definitely went kind of heavy with it. So that might be on me. And then also it has like kind of a smell to it. Nothing like too extreme, but like when you're using a lot of it, it's not the most amazing smell, but that's not a big deal at all. But yeah, I think that sat on the face here pretty nicely so far. Something I sometimes like to try to keep in mind is when doing so, it definitely did pick up some of that like foundation pigment. So if you were not to set your face, just something to keep in mind that this foundation does transfer a decent amount. It's like when I was blending it out here with the brush, a good amount of that pigment did show up on the brushes. So just something small to keep in mind. But yeah, we are set. Let's go ahead and do our brows. Yes, so for brows, the first product we have here is the LA Girls Shady Slim Brow Pencil. And I got the one in their shade Blonde. And opening it up here, they have a spoolie. Very nice. And we got their slim one. So this isn't like as small as some micro ones, but it's definitely still fairly small for a brow pencil. So that seems very exciting so far. Let's go ahead and comb through our brows and apply. Right, so the brow pencil is applied. Not too sure how well you'll see it. It's definitely either just a drier formula or sort of dried out, because like, you probably won't even see this, like just kind of scratching it on my hand here, just very hardly even shows up. Very, very dry. So again, not sure if that's the formula, because you can definitely, it eventually shows up, but it's just kind of dry. So we did get a little bit of a color there. They're looking nice, nice and natural, I guess. So there's that. We do have a brow gel, so we will set this down. And this is called the LA Girl Brow Bestie Long Wear Gel in their shade Dark Blonde. So let me look something up here again. Okay, yep, on their website here again, it looks like, at least currently, maybe they have a blonde shade and it's sold out, so they don't show it. but their lightest shade for this brow gel is the dark blonde. So there's a chance that this will go over and it'll darken our brows even more than what the pencil did. So opening it up here, it's just got a small little spoolie. It did also come with this little spoolie brush and a like an angled liner brush as well. I think I'm just gonna apply it like this at first, but if need be, we will use the spoolie from the brow pencil to kind of blend things out. So it's definitely very thick first coming out of the bottle, so I'm gonna try to get some of that off. Not necessarily thick, just a lot of product when it first comes out. We don't want all of that. And then we will just very gently go over the brows. All right, we've got the brow gel applied here. It's different. I like how fluffy it made the brows look. They're definitely a little bit darker than what I usually go for. Try to be very gentle with it. You could definitely easily go very heavy-handed with it. So I just very lightly just kind of brushed a little bit of that onto the brows and then went back in with a spoolie and dispersed the product a little bit more that way. And I like how that worked out, kind of making that fluffy look. And I'm not minding the dark brow too much. I think as we complete the face here a little bit more, that'll kind of start to look more complete. But again, it's just a little bit darker than what I was going for. So yeah, there's the brows so far. So let's go ahead and finish up under the eyes here real quick. So we are gonna grab that eyeshadow palette here again. This is a LaRousse brush. It is their LR002. It's a flat shading brush. And I'm gonna dip into that first shade that we used as the transition shade. Use that first and apply that all against the lower lash line. All right, and then next what we will do here is we will dip into that next matte shade here and just kind of go over that under there as well, just to darken it a little bit. We'll kind of focus this a little bit more on the outer part of the lower lash line. And then we will grab our Morphe M213 brush, the smaller brush, and dip into that darkest shade and focus that on the outer part here, connecting into the dark shades up at the top. All right, and I don't necessarily want to imitate the halo eye underneath. I like to usually keep the lash line sort of simple, and then also I want to try to use some of these other shades in here. So I think we're going to take this center shade here, this like deeper like pink color. And I'm gonna use that same brush, that Morphe M213 brush, clean him off here and dip in there. And apply him on the lower lash line, just kind of packing that up nice and close to get some shimmer on the lower lash. All right, and then cleaning that brush off one more time. We are going to dip into this shade here that we use for the highlighter, apply that a little bit here on the lower and just kind of recreate and connect that inner corner highlight. So then next we will complete the lower lashes with the mascara. So grabbing that Double Drama mascara here and applying that to the lower lashes. Alrighty, the eyes are complete. Here's what those are looking like. I'm really happy with how the eyes have turned out here so far. The eyeshadow is applied to the lower lash very nicely. I like that additional pink color that we added. I think that looks really nice. The mascara applied fairly well. Again, the first application of it is definitely thin, that first layer. So it did take a little bit to build up, but still I am happy with how the eyes have turned out here so far. So let's go ahead, keep rolling, and move on to the bronzer. So for bronzer, I have the Ellie Girl Pro Contour Powder. It says that they have a highlight and a contour. I did pick up a separate highlight here as well, because looking at this, it's just like a brightening powder. So maybe we'll use a little bit of that. Maybe that'll kind of help brighten the face here a little bit. And it is a highlight and contouring powder. So something to keep in mind is that this is going to be a little bit more cool, kind of shadowing, versus what some bronzers are a little bit more warm. So this is probably more for sculpting versus actually providing glow and bronze to the face. So I'm going to grab, this is a Laris LR357 flat. They say it's their flat powder brush, but it's got kind of this like oval shape to it. I like these types of brushes for creating a nice to the cheek. So I'm going to dip into that powder and apply. Contour is applied. Off the first bat here, I like it for the most part. I think I got a little sloppy on this side here maybe, but it applies really nice and then it blends through really nice. I'm not looking the best in the forehead here because that's typically a place that you bronze more than contour unless you're like right up here close to the hairline. But on the cheeks here, I really like the sculpt that provided. So liking that so far. I am going to take a little bit on let's just use our powder brush that we used from before, one of our Sonia brushes. I want to try to take a little bit of this and see if I can brighten up under the eyes here a little bit. No, I don't think that made too much of a difference, but I thought I'd give it a go. A little bit more set under the eyes now. So there's that so far. Let's go ahead and introduce the blush. So the blush is called the LA Girls Just Blushing, and I picked up two shades here. One of them here is their Just Playful shade. Looks like this. And the other one is called the Just Natural shade. And that one looks like this. They're very similar shades. This one here is just a touch deeper. And I think that's gonna be the one I want. Yes. So we are gonna use the Just Playful shade here. Pretty standard kind of rosy toned blush. And we will grab one of our e.l.f. angled blush brushes, dip on in there, and apply to the cheeks. So the blush is applied. I really like how that looks here. It's kind of soft, but you can sort of build it up here a little bit, but it's very matte and it glides on the face here really nicely. I could probably sit here all day and just keep applying it. And I don't think it would look too heavy. I might be wrong about that, but I'm really liking how it's sitting here so far. It just feels very natural. Oh, that one's Just Playful. Just Natural. They're very similar. If this was just the natural shade, that would have, yeah. Anyways, I really like how it's sitting here on the face, so I'm very happy with that. I mean, it's matte, but also like, I don't know. It just looks really nice. So there's that. And let's go ahead and highlight here next. So this is the LA Girl Strobe Light Strobing Powder. Here's what that looks like opened up. This looks very exciting. It almost looks like the package has, as if it would open again, but I don't think it actually does. So I think it's just this. So let's go ahead. I'm going to use our fan brush today, and we will dip on into that and apply to the high points. The highlighter is applied. Not sure how well the camera will pick it up. You can see it a little bit right there, I'd say. So I would say this is a very, very fine glitter. So it's right on the edge of like a glittery highlight, but it's so fine that it's not too annoying, I guess, if that makes any sense. I'm not quite a big fan of like the glittery types of highlights, but this one is so teeny tiny defined that it's like just right there. So it's very pretty. It's not like super pearly, I guess. It just has those very teeny tiny little glitter flecks in it, I would say. Definitely when you put your brush here in, it's kind of dusty. The glitter kind of goes everywhere. And I even noticed kind of when putting on my face, even though I was really trying to focus it kind of on these typical high points, it does kind of fluff and get a little bit everywhere, which is not too bad, just kind of want to mention it. So I like it. I think it would be a good like in combination highlighter where you put your kind of pearly base down first, and if you want that little bit of glitter, I think something like this could be really fun. But yeah, the highlighter is applied. Let's keep on rolling and introduce the lip products. So the first lip product that we have here is the Ellie Girl Perfection Precision Lip Liner, and I got the shade Flesh. So it's a typical pencil that you need to sharpen. Here's what that looks like. I'll go ahead and try and swatch it here for you guys so you can see it a little bit better. Kind of orangey in a way. Let's apply and fill in our lips with this. The lip liner is applied. Here's what that looks like. It's very, very beautiful nude. Has a little bit of like that orangey undertone to it, so a little bit different than the pinks that are going on with the eyes here, but still the nude looks really nice. It's a little bit, just a little drying. Not too bad though, but as I state a lot, my lips are usually pretty dry, so could be in combination of that. But it still feels pretty nice here on the lips. Yeah, I like how that applied. I like the color. Honestly, I think if you just had like a gloss, you could kind of just go over this and that would look pretty good as like just like a nude lip. So, but that's not what we're gonna do. We're gonna introduce the next lip product here. This is the Ellie Girl Lip Mousse Velvet Lip Color, and I got the shade Squad. So this is a very pinky shade, so it's gonna kind of take away that neutral nude orange, I think. So here's what the applicator looks like. It's kind of got that little center in it to really hold on to product. It has a little bit of an angle to it. Let's go ahead and apply this. And the lips are fully applied. I like how that's looking. I think I really like how the liner and that lip actually turned out. I was a little worried that the orange would look a little interesting underneath, but I think it kind of mixed really cool together. So I like that lip. It is, it doesn't like dry down, or at least not right away. You can definitely feel it moving around. So it may wear off here over time, but I like how it's feeling on the lips here. And I like how it's looking. So there's that. All right, and I believe we're on our last product here, which is going to be the setting spray. All right, so the setting spray is called the LA Girls Pro Setting High Definition Setting Spray Long Lasting, and it is in a matte finish. So I believe they have two different sizes. I went with their smallest one, I think. I guess I can look it up for you guys. Let's take a look here. Oh no, nope, they got just the one size, 1 fluid ounce, 1 fluid ounce. So this is the size of the bottle, very small, but sometimes that's all you need. So let's go ahead and give this a Mr. Test. Feels pretty nice. It might leave a couple little droplets on the face, but for the most part, it seems very nice. Not too much of a scent or anything like that. So let's go ahead and apply to the face. And then grabbing our fan here and our blender, let's go ahead and dry that down and get rid of any little droplets on the face. I have too much fun with the fan. All right, the face is set. And it's feeling pretty good. Yeah, I would say it's appearing as a matte setting spray. It definitely didn't bring anything too shiny back here. Everything feels locked down, which is very nice. And that is our full face. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. I'm very happy with how everything here is sitting on the face. And let's go ahead and get set up here to talk about the products individually. Alrighty, we are all set up here to talk about the products individually. Again, here is our full face. I am very happy with how things are looking and sitting here on the face. So let's figure out what our full face cost is. So looking at it here, a full face with the products here in front of us, this face cost us $106. Now, being that we're in this next category and everything here, we have a full face, 15 products sitting here in front of us, $106. That is amazing. I'm overall very happy with that price range. So yes, I'm super happy about that. So let's go ahead and talk about the products here individually. So we started with our concealer. So the LA Girl Pro Concealer. This guy right here, I guess I'm gonna say no to this one, being that this was one of their close to lighter shades. It definitely wasn't as light or as brightening as a concealer that I typically go for. It wasn't as coverage, I mean, it didn't have as much coverage as I was looking for as well. It did sit here on the face nicely, but definitely not a shade. And being that this is like one of their lighter options, probably not a concealer that I will reach for. So this is going to be a no. And then we went ahead and we did the eyes. And this palette here, I am going to say yes to. Yes, yes, yes. I am so happy with how this eye look turned out here. We did a halo eye, which is something that I'm not as familiar with doing. And I know I did a little bit differently than how most people put together a halo eye, but it still came together fairly quick. The shadows blended really nicely together. And this is just, these colors here for sure are just colors that I gravitate towards. So very happy to have these shimmers, these pinks. Yes, and I'm very happy with how they performed. So definite yes to the eyeshadow palette. And then we went ahead and we lined the upper lash line. This one is also going to be a yes for now. I did mention that like it did take a little bit longer to apply it. It's very fine tipped, and so when I went in, I hoping to get like a nice glide. I did kind of have to go back and fill in just because the line was a little high, you know, a little thin, had to fill it in. But I do like that small thin applicator. I think that could be really nice if we did decide to try and wing this out a little bit. I do like the very black liner it applied. So yeah, I like how this one performed. It just took a little bit more time, I guess, to apply it, but that's totally okay. So I'm curious to compare it to my other liners and see where it falls in. So this is going to be a yes for now. And then we applied the mascara. This one's a tricky one because I, for some reason, want to say yes on it because it does look really nice here on the eyes, but it doesn't perform or claim as if it says on here. It's supposed to be a Volusious mascara. It's their double drama mascara. So reading that, it didn't give me that dramatic volume as I would have expected. And as always, we look for something that's definitely lengthening, and it didn't quite do that. Kind of makes the lashes fall a little bit, and it takes a little bit of time to really apply it. So it looks nice, but I'm gonna have to say no, just kind of comparing it to other mascaras I have. It's definitely not one that I would reach for. I guess a good way to describe this mascara is maybe a very nice first mascara. So if you're somebody who's new and really just starting to get into mascara or makeup in general, you might enjoy something like this because it is just so easy to apply. And you could kind of take your time to kind of sort of build it where you want. So nothing bad, just not quite as I expected it to be. So for me personally, it's going to be a no. And then we moved on to the face and we applied the LA Girls Pro.Prep Smoothing Face Primer. This one, I'm gonna also say no. Now my pores aren't looking bad at all, but definitely compared to some other primers that I have, I do think I have ones that I think I would enjoy just a little bit more than this one. I did notice it's very minimal. Kind of around here when I was like reapplying the concealer and things did sort of seem to be not sitting great right up here. That could be the primer here. That's kind of what I assume it is, but I guess you can never really know. But there was something there that wasn't quite allowing the product to really sit into the face. And being that this was more of one of those silkier primers, I have a feeling that's what it was from. So again, kind of, I guess, similar to the mascara in a way where it's fine, but I guess I just still have better ones that may work better. So again, somebody who might be just kind of getting curious about primers and things like this might be something you may want to try out just to kind of get your fingers into the primer and see what you think. I don't know. But for me personally, I just don't think I would get a lot of use out of it. So this guy is going to be a no. All right, and then we applied the foundation. This guy right here. I'm gonna also say no. I've got a lot of no's, even though I'm very happy with how the face here is looking, and I'm very happy with the price point. But again, with the shade range that they had, this being kind of their lightest shade aside from their like white one, it's not quite light enough for a foundation for me personally. So people who are a little bit more fair skinned, this wouldn't quite work. And even though we were able to take that luminosity down, it is an illuminating foundation. So that's something I should have been aware of. I didn't quite like the way it sat on the face and kind of the textures that it kind of showed with the luminous to it. So I just don't see myself getting a lot of use out of this, especially being that it is not quite light enough for my face. So this guy's gonna be a no. Then we did our brows. So for the brows, we had the LA Girls Shady Slim Brow Pencil. I'm gonna also say no. It just has a drier formula, or maybe this specific one I have is just a little bit dried out, that it just didn't do quite enough filling, or just took a little bit more to even get some of that to even show up. So this specific brow pencil, I'm gonna say no. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And then we went ahead and we set things down with the LA Girl Brow Bestie, the long wear gel. Now, even though this one is a little dark, I will actually say yes to this one. I do like how fluffy the brows are looking. They're looking pretty set down. They moved around a little bit, so I wouldn't say it does the best job keeping everything fluffy. I am gonna kind of comb through them here with the brow spoolie they applied, or they provided. They do seem to just move right back up in place. Have a little bit of a hold to them. So yeah, I liked it. You definitely have to be careful with it. It's a lot of product that comes out on the applicator here. So going in with a very gentle hand, kind of going back and forth between product and spoolie just to make sure that you get it blended in really nicely. I do really like how the brows are looking, and that's definitely because of this guy. So I will say yes to the brow gel. And then I guess we set our face. I kind of skipped over that. So setting the face with the LA Girls Pro.Powder High Definition Setting Powder. I'm gonna say yes for now. I am actually very impressed how much of that luminosity it took away from the face. So that's amazing. It's good to have a powder that can really perform like that and really pull that away when you want something to look a little bit more matte. So that was definitely very exciting about it. We definitely went heavy with it, but it also isn't like looking really dry on the face here. It was feeling kind of dry at first, but after kind of allowing it to sit in and putting other products on and setting the face down, I'm actually really happy with how everything's looking. And even like, I mean, you can see a little bit there, but sometimes with my forehead creases, you can really see that stuff. But I mean, things are seeming to sit in place fairly nicely. And I think this definitely took a big part in that. So I'm gonna say yes. As I think about it here, I think it has a big part as to why I'm enjoying my face, I guess. But I will still be comparing it to some of the other powders that I have, just to really see where it sits in there. But yeah, yes for now. And then we contoured. So we went into this LA Girl Pro Contour Powder here. I'm also going to say yes. I really like how that sculpted the face. I would use it probably in addition to a bronzer, just because this is a contour powder versus a bronzing powder. There is a little bit of a difference there. So using this to get the nice sculpt on the face and then going in with the bronzer to warm things up, I think would be very, very nice. But yeah, I like how that blended on the face. On first application, you really get the color to show, but then you can kind of take your time to really smooth it out to make it look nice and natural. So yes to this. And then we applied our blush, and I'm also going to say yes. The one that we used was the Just Playful one, which was just a little bit deeper. And I love just how natural it looked and how like, it never really looked harsh. The edges of it just were very nice and soft. And even though it's like a matte, there was something about it. Maybe it's the foundation that was underneath. I'm not really sure that like, even though it was matte, it just had this like, this look. I don't know how to describe it. It just looked really nice, really natural on the face. So I'm very excited, especially about this particular shade. And I'm excited to try out the other one as well, the Just Natural, because I'm so happy with how these looked on the face. So yes to the blush. And then we applied the highlighter. So the Strobe Light Strobing powder. I'm also gonna say yes to this. This one is like right on the edge of being glittery. That normally I probably would have said no to it, but I think this one would be fun to use in addition to another highlighter. So if you wanted to get your pearly highlight on, but you wanted to just take it to that next level a little bit, I think something like this could be really fun as an addition to your highlighter, to add this like teensy teensy tiny little bit of glitter to it. This was a lot of fun. I'm gonna say yes to this highlighter for sure. And then we did our lips. So the first product that we used on the lips here was the Perfect Precision Liner. I'm also going to say yes as well to that one. Applying it at first, it was a little dry feeling. It didn't glide super nicely at first, but it did lay on the lips here really nicely. And I think over time, like I really liked how it looked, and I thought it would be a very good shade, especially to just even put just a gloss over. And that would have looked really nice, natural. So I'm very happy with that just off the bat. So the liner is going to be a yes. And then we applied the Lip Mousse Velvet Lip Color over top of that, and that is also going to be a yes. Now, as I've been talking here, it's dried down a little bit more. I was worried at first because I kind of felt like an interesting like texture to it at first, but as I'm talking, it appears to be like drying down a little bit more, not transfer proof here, moving around a lot less than it was at first. So it takes a little bit of time to actually sit and sink into the lips, but still loving the color, loving the like soft kind of matte finish that it provides to lips. So this is also a yes. And then we set everything down with the setting spray. This is the LA Girls Pro.Setting Setting Spray Long Lasting Matte Finish. And I am also going to say yes to this one. I think everything kind of sank and melted into the face here so nicely, and I think this definitely helped out with that a lot. Hopefully it is long lasting. I probably won't be wearing this for an entire day, but hopefully over time I'll be able to test that out and see actually how long lasting the setting spray is. And it didn't leave too many droplets or anything like that over the face, which was really, really nice. And another little bonus to it is just the size of it. If you were somebody to travel a lot, the specific size of it that they provide here, I think is very, very nice for traveling. So very happy, very excited about that. This is definitely a yes. That's everything. That is all of the products. So at first I was a little worried because I had a lot of no's just back to back to back. But looking at it here, we do have a good amount of yes products that are going to be additional products that I'm going to start adding into my regular routine of makeup. So we ended up setting aside 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 products that were no's, but then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 products that we're going to be hanging on to. So that is extremely exciting, and I'm very excited to continue to use these products. So that is going to be everything for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. And go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you guys can be notified of the next time that I post. Also, if there are any LA Girl products here that you did not see me put to the test, go ahead and leave that in the comments down below. I would love to try to get my hands on it for you and test it out in a future video. And if there are any of these LA Girl products that you'd like to see put to a full wear test, you can leave that in the comments down below as well, and I would love to try and make that happen for you. And lastly, if you guys have a brand recommendation for these brand new face videos, go ahead and leave that in the comments down below, and I would love to add it to the list of so many brands. And that's gonna be everything for this video. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.